Hello again. So I will now present the latest development, European legislative development when it comes to air emissions. So I will start to give you a little bit a view of the context to understand, to have the global picture, and then I will go into the eco-design, eco-labeling directives, and then to the medium combustion plan directives. So to give you a picture of what's happening at the EU level when it comes to air emissions, so you see basically all types of installation are covered by legislation. So above 50 megawatt, we have the Industrial Emission Directive that has been voted in 2012, so already in place. We have, for installation between 1 and 50 megawatt, the directive limiting emissions from medium combustion plants. And then for installation below 500 kilowatt, we have the eco-design directives. So let's start with the eco-design directive. So this directive allows the Commission to set EU-wide harmonized requirements for environmental performance of energy-related products. So basically, products that will be placed on the market will have to comply. We have mandatory requirements of environmental performance. So this directive has been voted in 2009. This is kind of a mother directive. That is after divided into several group of products. And for bioenergy installation, we have two groups of products, two lots. The lot 15, which concern the solid fuel boilers, and then the lot 20, which concerns the local space heaters. So these two directives have been adopted in October 2014. This is a summary. It's very small. I'm not going to go into details, but it's just for you to have it. I suppose you will have the presentations after. But this is a summary of the two requirements. So as you can see, there will be energy efficiency requirement and also emissions requirement for these two lots, with an entry into force in 2020 for solid fuel boilers and in 2022 for local space heaters. These directives are accompanied by eco-labeling requirements. So same for the eco-design directive, you have like a mother directive, which is the energy labeling directive, which basically allows the Commission to impose specific and EU-wide harmonized requirements of labeling for energy-related products. So which means that the manufacturer will have to supply the label and the dealers will have to show it. Let's go into details into the legislation. So for, again, it's the lot 15. It's the energy labeling requirements for solid fuel boilers. So you see on your right hand, you see the labeling. That's the way they will have to look like. So you have the colors basically refers to the energy efficiency. The YZ kilowatt relates to the rated heat output. And then you have some functions for water heating and cogeneration, electricity production. On your very right hand, you have, this is the labels for packaging. So basically, you have a function, you have a spot to show if there is, it's solar collector, water, storage, temperature control, and additional heating requirements. So this can be included and can be shown on the label. Yeah. For local space heaters, so you have the same label approximately. So you will have the energy efficiency with the colors, and then you have the nominal heat output of direct or indirect heating. This will enter into force for biomass installations in 2022. What is important to understand is that there is, the Commission has developed a BLF, which is a biomass label factor. It's a political factor to analyze, actually, to compare, to do the conversion between fossil fuel installation and biomass installation. And the BLF that the Commission has agreed on is quite good for biomass installation, which means that biomass installations can reach A++, while fossil fuels, the best fossil fuel appliances, can only reach A. So this is quite good because it shows that a better ranking for biomass heaters. So these are the text, all the links with eco-design and eco-labeling as well, if you need them. I will now talk about the directive limiting emissions from medium combustion plants, so from 1 to 50 megawatts. So we are now in the final stage of negotiation and agreement of this directive. We only have a final vote beginning of October in the European Parliament in the plenary session, and then there will be a final agreement by member states. But it shouldn't change. This should be the final requirements. So this is a summary of the different requirements that are asked. As you can see, the implementation date for existing plants will be 2025 for the largest installation and 2030 for the smallest, below 5 megawatt, and it will be 1 year after the transposition for new plants. I have highlighted the dust emissions requirements because this has been the point that has been most discussed among stakeholders but also among member states. It's the emission level requirement for dust, and especially for small installations. And the discussion was around, actually the first proposal from the Commission was 30 milligram per normal cubic meter. So now they agreed on 50. And the reason why is that actually the technology to achieve these 30 or 50 milligram per normal cubic meter are these ones. These are the four technologies that are today available to reach, to abate dust emissions. So basically the first one is the multi-cyclone. So I don't know if you are familiar, but basically it's using a centrifugal force to stick the particle into the walls of the cyclone, and then when you stop it, they fall. So basically you can get rid of the particulate matters, and you can reach between 100 and 300 milligram per normal cubic meter with this technology, depending of course on the combustion conditions and on the quality of the fuel, but this is what you can reach. Then you have the electrostatic precipitator. Can I get it? It's a little bit the same functionality as with the multi-cyclone, but you electrically charge the particles so that they also get stuck on the walls of your cyclone. So that basically with that, because they are electrically charged, you can reach much higher level of particle abatement until 30 milligram. So this is quite good. Then you have the fabric filter, which is basically you direct the flue gases through a back filter. And then this is actually the technology that abates the best, mostly the particulate. So you can reach until 20 milligram. And then you have the multi-cyclone plus the scrubber. So that's the same way of working at the multi-cyclone, but you add water. So basically the efficiency is increased, and you can reach around 45 milligrams. So what I want to say here is that with the first proposal from the Commission, 30 milligrams, you could only have those two electrostatic precipitator and fabric filter technology to use to actually abate your emissions. And you have to know that these two technologies are the most expensive, of course. We have calculated that the amount should reach about 20% of the total investment for small installations. So what we were fearing is actually that with this high level of requirements, investment will go away from biomass towards other, maybe more cheaper solutions. And then the objective of an air emissions package is actually missed, because probably will go to other most polluting solutions such as coal that is very cheap. So by increasing at least to 50 milligram, now we can at least use one more technology that is a little bit cheaper. It was just the objective to allow the industry to adapt at a reasonable cost and don't have the investment go away from biomass. So there is also something that is new in the last text. It's a derogation. There is a new derogation for installation firing only biomass until 2030. They can they do not have to comply with the PM values until 2030. So this is actually the Commission and the Member States have actually acknowledged this issue for smaller installation to reach such a level of emissions. But this 50 is quite already a very ambitious level, and I suppose that that the objective of a climate package is at the end is reached with such level. So that's it for the moment. If you have questions later.